It's Thursday, it's 8 o'clock, and we're sitting here thinking of you, naked, thigh deep in tofu. How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm feeling anatomically correct.
Feeling all right until I just read that the Giants' options at quarterback they're aiming for Russell Wilson and Joe Flacco. So.
First of all, everybody knows the Giants' options at quarterback are not Russell Wilson at all, or anybody that looks like Russell Wilson.
They're gonna make a change.
Or if they ever shared one drop of blood, is the same as that might be the same as Russell Wilson. It's just not happening. All right, the Maras are not going to have Russell Wilson play quarterback, and if the Maras do have Russell Wilson play quarterback, they're going to fire their GM immediately.
I
love to watch Rook squirm try to avoid the unacceptable truth that you have to deal with right now.
But it's not like their team is entirely white. You get that, right? Like you're not.
No. Listen, the rule in football has never been like, oh, we can't have any black guys. The rule in football from up until 1993 was, listen, you can have black guys, but they ain't playing quarterback, okay?
It's just.
And the Mariners have held strong to that rule.
They are. Tyrod Taylor. I don't know what you're talking about.
How many black guys have taken a snap for the Giants at quarterback?
Geno Smith, Tyrod Taylor.
Or how many combined quarters? 6?
7 maybe?
No, more than that. Tyrod Taylor started 3 or 4 games that year. And then he came in for
played one fucking quarter each game.
He played that entire game against the Bills, 4-quarter game. And then he came in after the week before for Daniel Jones. That's 6 right there.
Over or under on the amount of quarters the Maras had to sit there and watch a black guy quarterback their team.
I like the way you say it.
Under 10.
Right? It's got to be like.
No,
you know what, Nick? Listen, we may have a bleak situation, in Jetsville. But at least we help propel New York City to a better state than Boston, because right now the Giants are like the city of Boston, not allowing black players to play in the MLB until 90-something.
Wait, speaking of Boston,
you guys are the fucking Red Sox right now.
They're the Red Sox.
Oh, speaking of Boston, the Celtics just got sold for $6.1 billion. They just won a championship last year. I don't get why.
It's called The owner was like, hey, you know how that Hawk Tua girl cashed in on her meme coin? Well, we're cashing in on this championship. I'm out.
I mean, it's crazy. I don't know how long the ownership has been there for, but think about it. The Celtics have won
20 years?
18, 19?
20 years?
Oh, is that what it was? It's different ownership.
They bought the team in the early 2000s for $360 million.
That's
a good investment.
Yeah.
That's a hell of an investment. $6.1 billion afterwards. Yeah, I guess they are. Fuck, if we won the championship, we're cashing out.
An investment group bought the Celtics, right?
Yeah, I don't think it was one single owner.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Now I feel like you'll never have a single owner.
No, it's not like the Steinbrenners now.
Right. It's never gonna, it's always gonna be, at least in a big market team. Like you might get away with owning the fucking, I don't know, the Mariners or some shit like that, or the A's, but that's it.
Woody Johnson owns the Jets, though. He bought that. They bought that 30 years ago, right?
He bought that in 1998.
From the Hesses, yeah.
Yeah, that almost 30 years ago, yeah. So, then it wasn't. it was a good investment too for it, but
yeah, but think about what kind of money he has. Johnson & Johnson money, they're flush.
I know. You gotta think about it too. It's funny because the New York teams are basically all owned by one single guy. Dolan owns both the Knicks and the Rangers. The Jets have Woody Johnson. The Mariners own, not that he's one guy, but the family owns the Giants. I mean, it's pretty crazy to think about ownership.
Well, when Woody Johnson bought the Jets, it was for $635 million back in 2000.
When you said 635,000, I was like, wait, what?
I was gonna say in 2000, and
I was about to say I would have went and got a bank loan and be like, yeah, you know who's starting? Fucking me.
Yeah.
And I'm paying myself $300 million for this season. Don't worry, guys. I'm going to get immediately injured, have career-ending surgery, and insurance is going to cover it.
See, if you want, you could always start for the Maras. You meet one of the prerequisites.
Is it being white?
It is.
But I'm short, though.
Doesn't matter. Better options than Russell Wilson or Cam Ward or Shador Sanders. Imagine a guy named Shador starting quarterback for the fucking Giants.
I mean, I appreciate you even putting me in the category of that. Maybe Sanders, because he's a fucking douche and nobody wants to touch him because you got to deal with Dion all fucking day. But and the fact
that's really interesting because I like Dion the player. You know, but Dion the coach is just so full of himself and like he's talking so much about how he's turned programs around. I'm like, you're a circus act. That's it.
Everybody was quick to defend him when he was like, "Coach, you call me coach," and everybody's like, "Listen, he's just leaning into it." And no, he was a dick. That was a douchey thing to fucking say. It was embarrassing for him. I was embarrassed for him.
My problem with the whole call me coach, you call everybody else coach, is that they didn't call you coach for like 30 years. And this isn't your first interview. So like, I could see if you were always the coach, they would have called you coach. And not to mention you are not their coach. Like I'm not required to call anybody who's not my coach. I can do it out of respect. Because if I know them as
cheers,
a coach,
by the way, boys.
Cheers. If I know them as a coach, I can call them coach out of respect. But generally speaking, if I don't know you as a coach, I don't call you coach. I just call you by your name because that's who you are. Or I'll call you Mr. Sanders or whatever it is. But like, if I don't know you or see you as a coach because I've seen you as something else for so very long, so that's like seeing Scott Hall as Razor Ramon forever, and then all of a sudden he's Scott Hall, and you're like, "Hey, Razor," and he's like, "My name's Scott Hall. Don't call me Razor." Bro, I knew you as fucking Razor for fucking 10 years. Now you don't want to be Razor anymore. All right, whatever, man. Like,
well, I was gonna say it was anybody that defended that would also be the last people to defend the fact that like it would be like having a relationship with a peer, and then all of a sudden that peer gets promoted, and they're like, "You call me fucking sir now." It's like, dude, like what do you know what I mean? And it wasn't what bothers me is his answer. It's like he set it up, like he was waiting for the opportunity to snap back with that, as if the person presented it in a disrespectful way when really they were just having a conversation and he made something out of it.
And that's exactly what it was. He made something out of something that was innocuous. It wasn't a slight, and it wasn't meant as an insult. It was just meant as, hey, I've been talking to you for the last 10 years doing interviews. We've been talking about you for the last 20 years doing interviews, and we've always referred to you as Dion or Neon Dion or Prime Time.
Even Leon Sandcastle.
Right. But you being coach
was okay.
is not something that we haven't referred even now. Like you don't call him Coach Sanders. You know, I would still say Deion Sanders.
They still call and if they call him coach, they use Coach Prime,
which is the dumbest shit in the fucking world. You're going to give yourself your stupid primetime nickname as a coach.
Yeah,
like absolutely ludicrous. And all that hoopla, and your team still can't fucking win.
So let me ask you this:
they went from 1-10 to fucking 4-6. Okay, you still suck. I don't know if you knew. Like
who? So let me ask you this: what's the more intolerable situation? Deion Sanders and his son, right?
Okay. Or LeBron and his son?
LeBron and Bronny, or the entire Ball fucking family?
Actually, I think the Ball family might be the whole.
They're the least of my concerns.
But I was going to say, and at least there's several of them. Not like legitimately, LeBron James' son does not belong in the league. He gets called out, and then LeBron James is trying to fight and get in Stephen A. Smith's face because what? Because he's like, yo, your son is not. He's here for one reason. Like
Lonzo. So Lonzo Ball he just still plays like a journeyman basketball player. The LaMelo Ball is like probably the best one at all of them, and the other one is a rapper now. And I don't think he ever played in the NBA. I think he only played.
Can we throw Patrick Mahomes and his wife and brother into the mix?
That's true.
But you know what? You know what though?
The crazy thing about LeVar recently was, remember when he used to say that he would beat Michael Jordan on like with one leg?
Yeah.
You know, he's got one leg. He got an amputee. Like, do you think now he'll challenge Jordan?
You know what? Probably not. Just because of the fact that I thought we were going to get to see John Rocker beat up Patrick Mahomes' DUI getting dad, but
his name is
it's
Pat
not
Mahomes.
happening. What?
His name is Pat Mahomes.
Yeah, he will always be 3 DUI Mahomes. I believe he's up to 3.
So here's my question. So I'm going to rank that, right? We said the Sanderses, the Jameses, and the Balls, right? I'm going to go the way it's written. I'm going to go the Balls, the Jameses, and the Sanders as the Sanders being the least intolerable in that order. And the reason I'll say that is Shedeur Sanders has not earned anything in the NFL at all. To this point, he hasn't earned a damn thing. The argument could be made that a lot of his college success was due to the fact that he's playing with Travis Hunter, right? Like Kurt Warner was a very good quarterback as long as he had Isaac Bruce and fucking and say hey again, Marshall Faulk and what's his name and Torrey Holt. Great quarterback as long as he had a Hall of Fame running back and 2 outstanding receivers plus Frank Wycheck and a couple of other guys. Azahir Hakeem was on that team. He was very good as well. Yeah. And then he goes to the Giants and he sucks dicks and balls because they have nobody on the team to support him. And then he goes to Arizona and he's got Edgerrin James, Larry Fitzgerald, and fucking Anquan Bolden. And all of a sudden he's back to being the greatest thing since sliced bread. Now, I'm not trying to take anything away from Kurt Warner, but you do have to ask the question of how much of that is Kurt Warner.
Rangers goal, baby. 2-2.
How much of that is Kurt Warner playing above the boards and how much of that is the wide receiver and running back being able to support him and lift his game to another level. So, and the same question can be asked about Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter. How much of their success is Travis Hunter related? Like he's only successful because Travis Hunter is out there for him as an outlet for that, to be that guy. And not to mention how much of his success is just mop up time because they played fucking San Jose State. And everybody, and they were winning by 30 points in the first quarter, and they left him in there in the fourth quarter just to rack up fucking yards because he did that a lot. Yeah. I don't think the backup quarterback for Colorado played at all this year.
See, I don't think the balls aren't that bad because once they all got in the NBA, like LeVar cooled down. He wasn't
So my point also is that you don't know what you're getting with LeBron. Shedeur. You don't know what he hasn't played. Father's fucking annoying, and he's playing the most difficult position in sports, and he hasn't earned anything, and he's already a pain in the balls.
Mm-hmm. All right, and you could see that situation deteriorating into wherever he goes for his first NFL contract. If it doesn't work out for him, like most rookie QBs that get thrust right into the NFL and they falter, are you going to have Coach Prime making every fucking excuse in the world on ESPN every night?
Yeah. Right. And now, LeBron and Bronny, the truth of the matter is, despite his not being the greatest of all time, LeBron James is still a top 10 player in the NBA right now. So you take the good and you take the bad. He's a pain in the balls, and you have a bum kid on your team that shouldn't be there and kind of a media circus following it. But at least you got a top 5 or top 10, if not top 5 player in the league on your team at the same time. So you
imagine being on that team. But imagine being the dude that has to sit because this fucking bum ass kid has to play because LeBron's on the team. Imagine having to look at LeBron and be like, yo, we're trying to compete here, right? Well, why don't you have your son go get us some fucking water then?
Are we talking about being the owner of the team, the coach of the team, or being a player on the team?
Well, no, of course. I'm just throwing fucking, fuel on the fire here and throwing in different situations. But that's what I'm saying.
If I'm the owner or I'm the coach, I don't give a fuck about what a player on a team thinks.
No, I agree.
I got LeBron James. He's the best player in the league. I got to fucking make him happy.
He's definitely not.
If I don't have him, then who do I have? Am I really upset about the 12th guy on the team being upset that he's not getting minutes?
Yeah, most of the time, some of these rotations are like 8, 9 guys. Anyway, you're not going to the 12th guy anyway. But and with Bronny, it's just like it's just a weird situation because he pretty much forced him to get drafted, Right. He went to the Lakers because LeBron's there. They basically told any team if you draft him, he's not going to play for you. If I was a team, I would have drafted him and been like, give me your number 1 pick.
Yep, me too.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Or and I would love to. I would have loved to have been like the Milwaukee Bucks and like tell fucking LeBron James like, yo, we're literally we'll hold out as long as your son holds out. We really don't care. It's a bullshit.
We don't
draft
care if he plays
anyway.
or not because he's not that good.
Right.
So
we didn't wait. It was a bullshit fucking pick. Who cares? We'll move along. We'll literally fucking make sure your son never touches the court ever. So you like in that situation, I would have loved to just been spiteful and be like, yeah, no. Now he doesn't play.
So
how does that work though? Sorry, Nick. How does that work though? Like if you just like if he never signs a contract with you, because you have to sign a contract, you're going to get drafted.
Yes.
I don't know how that works in the NBA.
He wouldn't be able to play in the league though.
I don't know for a year or so.
Probably. In the NBA, I think the NBA works like the NFL, where you have to sit out for the year and then you can re-enter the draft.
Yeah, I don't think it's like that. I think it's like,
or you become a free agent. They don't
like go overseas and just play overseas and then get drafted again afterwards.
Yeah.
What happened to what? Well, I gotta look this up. But did it happen to Ricky Rubio? Ricky Rubio got drafted, then he wasn't going to play, and then he got. I think there was somebody. I'm looking up, but I can't because my computer's too slow. Give me a second.
Well, while he looks at that, the Rangers are tied 2-2 with an Artemi Panarin fucking rebound goal. It was absolutely beautiful. Will Cooley in front of the net screening. And I feel like Will Cooley's in front all the time. I feel like he's involved in every single play. So I absolutely love the Rangers' youth. If they could just get rid of some of the bad contracts, man. This team shows sparks.
I want to put in what happens, and the first thing happens when you die on Google. Number 1 search.
Number 2,
I would love for somebody to answer that in like some kind of spiritual way, like, but it'd just be absolutely ridiculous. Like Google's number 1 recommendation: you get tossed into a land of dinosaurs and fucking dragons, and are eaten for all eternity. It's like, Jesus, really? It's like, no, don't use the word Jesus. He gets mad. He rides dragons here too.
Did you ever find it weird that there's not another guy in the Bible named Jesus?
No, because
I just want to point out there's a finite number of names in Hebrew, so much so that there's 2 Johns, 2 James, there's 2 Judases, and they're all part of the same friend group.
I'm just going to throw this out here, and I don't want it to be labeled as blasphemy because I'm just fooling around. But what if it was one of those situations where, like, Jesus kind of realized, like, you know what? I'm doing some shit that the government doesn't like. It's going to get me jammed up one day. Let me throw them off the scent and use a different name. And maybe his name wasn't Jesus. Maybe he just used the name Jesus because he's like, I'm the only Jesus. That's it. But really, his name was like Jimmy. And he's, like if you're at work and somebody calls up and it's like, hey, I need to. I was speaking with somebody earlier. Who was it? And your buddy Jimmy's off that day. So you go, oh, you must have spoke to Jimmy, sir.
Be fair, his brother is Jimmy.
You sure?
His brother is James. Yeah, James, brother of Jesus.
Well, yeah, but did he go by Jimmy? There's a distinction. Think about it. That's not true. That's not true. I have friends that are named Jimmy, and I've never called them James once in their life.
You should. Friends that are fun. Like when I call you Thomas.
So what happens is, in the NBA, if you get drafted to the team, the team has the exclusive rights to that player for an entire year. They can trade that rights to somebody else, or at the end of the year, the player becomes a free agent.
There you go.
And they don't get paid at all. There's no salary, there's no bonuses, nothing, because you don't sign, you don't get any type of bonuses or whatever for being drafted.
But what if you wasted your first round pick? If that guy doesn't sign with you? You don't get anything as the team?
I don't think you get anything as a team. I think you just get whatever.
If it's your if it's your first round pick, then you trade him. If he doesn't want to play with you, trade him for 3 first round picks.
You trade him for 1. But he wasn't going to be the first round anyway. I'm saying he was drafted like second round, like late for the Lakers. Like if you're number 1 pick in the second round, and you're like, who gives a shit, and just drafted him, like who gives a fuck at that point?
The second round in the NBA is not like the MLB or NFL. It's the second round. It's like, all right, the last fucking 10 picks of the first round probably aren't going to be that great.
So I went to Google. This is a new segment. Google searches, but I went to put has anyone, and I was going to put held out after being drafted for an entire year in the NBA. And the first one was has anyone died on Naked and Afraid was number 1.
Why does dying shit keep popping up on yours?
I don't know. And the next one is anyone died in space? Has anyone died on a loan?
Google search why does, and let's see what pops up.
Now, you want to Google search something? You want to talk about dying in space? Google how many animals Russia just sent to their death in space. It's like, let's see what happens when you send a dog. Like, literally, that's what they did for like a decade.
Yeah, terrible.
Horrible.
I'm pretty sure we did the same thing.
Yeah, but no. They sent them on like one-way trips, like knowing that, like, no, we're not trying to get them back. We want to see like if we can read their vitals and see what happens to them.
Well, Russia has a lot of stray dogs, man. Surplus.
There. A lot of stray dogs in some Caribbean islands, I've noticed. Anytime I go on vacation, there's a lot, and they're all very friendly. Weird.
Yes. You know what? There's stray horses in Puerto Rico.
That's sick.
And they look sick.
I've seen a lot of wild horses in what's it called near Beaufort, South Carolina.
There's a lot of wild horses in Louisiana.
North Carolina.
Shout out to Louisiana. A lot of wild horses out that way.
Who's gonna ride your wild horses?
But
all right, let's move on.
As you sit there watching the Ranger game, I'm actually sitting here watching spring training Yankees.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dominguez has picked up his spring. He's batting a little bit over 280. I think he's batting 285 right now because he went 2 for something today. But Dominguez is doing well. Actually, a couple of notes on guys that are actually playing above the boards right now with for the Yankees in spring training, which means very little. But you definitely want to walk into the season playing better than playing bad, right? Like right now, Judge is struggling pretty well. He's batting 115.
But last year he won too, and then he went into May horrible, and then he gets one MVP.
Yeah. I mean, he still hit 58 home runs, but you wonder what would have happened if he would have had a more explosive start to his season.
He definitely would have beat the 62 he hit the 2 years earlier.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about definitely because for all we know, he would have got injured or some shit. Who knows?
I'm just saying he started April really slow and he ended up winning the MVP. So I can live with that.
But so right now, Ben Rice has picked up his hitting a little bit. He's batting 265. He's been catching a lot this spring, and you know, I guess we were looking at him more like, hey, well, he's going to be our first baseman of the future.
Yeah, they were,
and I guess they're looking at him more as a Swiss Army knife. And they're trying to.
I think he was a catcher originally before playing first.
Yes.
Well, who's the backup right now for?
Right now, it's JC Escara.
Yes, I mean they might want to have
who's also having a very, very good spring.
Oh,
he's a little bit of a Cinderella story right there. Like I said, Judge is struggling. He's batting 115.
How's Stanton doing?
Cody Bellinger's having a hell of a spring. He's batting 465 this spring.
Yeah.
And he's been getting a lot of at bats. It's not like he's got a small sample size.
Nah.
He's getting 3 at bats a game. Like he's playing a lot of games and he's getting a lot of at bats in. Dominguez has raised his average to 283 today with a 1 for 3 day. Jazz Chisholm's batting 220, but he just hit another home run today after hitting a home run yesterday. So he's got a little bit pop this spring. He hit his 3rd home run today. Volpe is struggling mightily. He's batting 182. I think he has a home run on the spring, but not doing much.
He hasn't had great in the spring at all.
But a lot of the pitchers look half decent. Some of them are injured. Obviously, Cole's out for the season with Tommy John surgery. Will Warren got roughed up a little today.
What'd you say?
I said Will Warren got roughed up a little bit today. 4 runs on
heels. How long is Heel out for? Till August, they said, or May?
No, not till August. He's missing the start of the season.
Oh, that's it?
I didn't hear anything about till August. He was out 6 weeks. They shut him down for 6 weeks 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago.
Oh, sorry. I don't know. I thought that was worse.
If he's out till August, I'm gonna fucking blame you. All right. And I will forever brand you a Mets fan for saying some silly shit like that.
I thought I saw somewhere it was in August.
Making shit up till August.
Who's out to August then?
Nobody. Stanton might be out till August. Well, who gives a shit anyway? He don't hit till October.
That's fair.
But today the reports came out. 25 million people watched the first game.
I'm not as crazy as I think. He's not signed up for 6 weeks. It's 3 months.
Okay. That's still not August.
It's still a long time.
That's still not August.
No, I messed up my math.
It's March.
I know. I messed up my math.
School is still going to be in session.
How old is that? How old is that fucking report?
It's from early March, so June then.
Yeah, that's not August, guy. Early June is not August.
Because the Yankees are always wrong with their predictions of their injuries.
Golly.
That's fair.
Trying to shelf the guy for the year.
25 million. Now I think August is the last month before the year ends. It's actually
no shit. He'll be a September call-up.
That'd have been terrible.
Fucking guy.
Also,
Austin Wells is having a hell of a spring. I don't know if you guys caught anything.
Mm-hmm.
He's tearing the cover off the ball so much to the effect that my wife, who's a Mets fan, I said Austin Wells with the dinger, and she goes, "That's our catcher." And I was like, "Yes, come to the winning side."
He's batting leadoff too, which is good. The Yankees need a leadoff hitter. If you put him in the leadoff, and
I sat there and I was like, "Yes, come to the dark side." That's right. It's Darth Vader's lightsaber.
I was trying to know what that was.
It was either it was either a sex toy or lightsaber.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And I was like, just pull a sex toy.
So if I would have grabbed the Obi-Wan Kenobi one over there, So
click the button, it comes out.
So
it's the bottom. It's a double.
you two are crass.
You're the one pulling out props, dude. You won Carrot Top. You invited this.
So 25 million Japanese people watched the first game between the Dodgers and the Cubs, and baseball's reveling over this. Like, see, Japanese people love baseball more than we do, and that's more viewers than any one game had in America all last year. And I'm like, you do understand that baseball is a regional sport, right? So like when the Dodgers play the Cubs, I am not watching because I could not give a fuck less about not just the Dodgers nor the Cubs, but the cities of Los Angeles and Chicago. But obviously something that never goes to your town shows up, and two of your countrymen are performing, right? Because you had Sasaki playing, you had Ohtani playing, you had I think it's Morikawa for Yamamoto too. Yamamoto, but then I think Murakawa also pitches for the Cubs.
Yeah,
you're gonna fucking watch that. You haven't seen these guys who are heroes in your country play together in probably 4 or 5 years. If they play together in your town, you're gonna go see that. That would be like if Bernie 100%. Williams and Derek Jeter played a baseball game against fucking Roger Clemens and Andy Pettitte. Every fucking Yankee fan would be watching that shit right now because you'll never see that shit.
Well, not only that, dude, as far as sports go, it may be like America's sport, right? It's the national pastime, but Japan loves baseball, and they love it so much that it doesn't matter what team a Japanese player goes to in America, they will support that team. I mean, dude, remember being a kid and going to Yankee Stadium? Literally, right field was just filled with fucking rising sun Japanese flags when Hideki Arabu was, on the Yankees.
Which is so weird because he played left field.
First of all, he said Hideki Arabu.
Yeah.
You said he played left field.
I knew he meant Matsui.
No. Didn't Arabu fucking pitch for the Yankees?
He did too, yeah.
Thank you. And that's what I'm talking about. He would be all the fucking rising sun flags. They'd be all the way up in the top deck of the fucking right field, just take over the entire section, and it would be nuts. And I'd be like, what's that? And my father would be like, oh, it's a Japanese rising sun flag. I'm like, oh, he's like, yeah, Arabu. I'm like, but he's not pitching today.
I don't think it's not the rising sun flag, dude. The rising sun flag is the one they used during World War II. They don't use that anymore because of World War II.
I understand that, and yet they still had that flag. I'm telling you, I was there. I watched.
But and you're absolutely right about that. But again, Major League Baseball and a lot of reporters trying to conflate national pride for the players that are playing in those games who are from their country with the fact that they love baseball more than we do. It's like, no, we just don't give a fuck about the Dodgers or the Cubs. Like, just like I guarantee you, the Yomiuri Giants don't have 25 million viewers on their opening day, because if you're not from fucking Tokyo or you're not a Giants fan, you're not watching that fucking game.
Right.
You can see it whenever you want. So like, you're not watching it's not going to interrupt your day to watch. Like same thing with soccer fans. Oh, the World Cup, most people watch it. Yeah, because you only get to watch it once every 4 years. If it was every fucking day, you wouldn't watch.
Yeah, I mean, think about it too. I bet like when you look at soccer ratings, like they always say it's like the biggest sport in the world, but like how many people actually watch like a Manchester United versus like I don't know whoever the fuck else they play? I don't know, but I'm just saying like
People from Manchester watch it.
Yeah,
People from
that's what I'm
Manchester
saying.
watch
Like,
Manchester. People from Chelsea watch Chelsea. Go look up the populations of those two towns, and you'll be like, oh, so nobody's watching that game. Cool.
Yeah.
Wow,
like,
Staten
also,
Island
like,
showed up to watch. Pretty much what it is.
Yeah. And the World Cup, like you said, is every 4 years. Of course, people are going to go nuts for it. If you're a soccer fan, you're going to watch.
But that's a national thing, though. You know what I mean?
The whole country's going to watch.
And not only that, not only is it a national thing, let's say you're into soccer at, or you're just into soccer as like a more less, not a hardcore fan, more just like a casual fan, but you have a favorite player. Whoever that player is playing for, whatever national team, you're going to root for that team.
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly what it is. And that's
the only that's the only soccer I watch is World Cup because I actually find it interesting and there's a whole lot less flopping and little bullshit plays because there's a lot on the line. So all of a sudden it's like a little bit, I would guess, uncouth to be flopping out there while your nation is rooting you on. But
the worst part about it was I know one time I was watching it and like the USA was playing and like someone was telling me like, oh, USA doesn't get as many calls because they're too strong and like they don't flop as much. It's like, damn right we do. Like, bitches, I'd rather take less calls and be manly than flopping all over the place. So,
doing any of that bullshit up in here.
I think the reporting on the Japanese games is a little bit conflated. Again, they're confusing national pride watching their hometown heroes who they haven't seen compete in person in years.
Yeah,
with an American team watching their local team play. Like, there's probably 25 million Yankee fans. They're not all in New York.
No.
They're worldwide, and they're not waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch the fucking game either.
Did you wake up at 6 a.m. to watch the Dodgers Cubs?
Fuck no, I don't give a fuck about the Cubs or the Dodgers. If the stadium would have collapsed and all the players would have fucking went, I'd have been like, fuck, I can't go to the Giants game when I go to fucking Japan next month.
I'd be like, yeah, you couldn't pay me to get up that early. I'd be like, all right, I'd rather sleep than have to get up.
Again, imagine this. 3 o'clock in the morning is when a game started in fucking California. So the actual fans of those teams didn't get to watch the game because who the fuck's waking up at 3 o'clock in the morning to watch a baseball game when you have to go to work that day?
Unless you were on a bender in like Vegas and like you're just like,
again, if you have to go to work that day, you're not waking up at 3 a.m. to catch the fucking Dodgers.
No way.
Unless you have a severe problem, like either with gambling or just like, I love baseball. I don't love baseball that much to wake up at 3 a.m.
Well, speaking about serious problems and benders, it was St. Patrick's Day on Monday. So, cheers, boys. Irish call time.
You can't call it that, bro. Everybody in Ireland just cringed.
That's pretty solid.
Well,
that was solid.
It tastes delicious. Thank you, bro.
Solid chug. I beat you on Sunday, but
yeah. Yeah, you know what the real winner was your concrete floor outside because they got all fucked up on rum chata.
Oh god,
gust of wind came. It was like a gale force wind came and took the alcohol away that Rook just brought out, and everybody was like, "No, not on the holiest of days."
Yeah, and then like the ants were just all over the place.
Talk about St. Patrick's rum chata. You want to hear some heresy tea?
I want to hear.
I'm at Target, and this woman is in front of my wife and I. And she's not festive for the holiday. She goes, "It's I'm Italian, and besides, he wasn't even Irish; he was Italian." And I'm like, "No, he wasn't. He wasn't." And everybody, like, "Yeah, he was. He was Italian." No, he wasn't. He was English. Actually, he was English, and he was a subject of the Roman Empire.
Correct.
But being a subject of the Roman Empire does not make you Italian by any measure. Right? Like, because you'd be Roman, and Roman does not equal Italian. Because the Roman Empire became the Byzantine Empire, which is not even in Italy.
Did you give this spiel to the woman?
No, I just sat there and let her be stupid.
You just wasted a lecture on us then.
No, I appreciate a good lecture, especially when it's history based, because I mean, everybody doesn't realize that he was in fact an English subject. He then went to Ireland, and then literally his entire thing, if you don't want to delve down to, casting the snakes out of Ireland, he literally went like throughout the entire country. And again, it's Ireland, so it's small, like, European countries or states. essentially to us, but still, by doing it on foot, went across and literally changed a pagan, non-religious country to Catholicism, like by himself. So that's pretty awesome.
I'm just busting Nick's balls, but that is pretty awesome. And you gotta think about it too, like Irish people
just pissed off he wasn't Italian.
Very Catholic.
Well, I mean, listen, if you remember Christopher's dream when he was like all fucked up and dying in the hospital, they're laughing at us, T. We're in an Irish bar and every day is St. Patrick's Day. That's our hell.
Anthony's just
the best part is Tony Soprano is hysterical laughing at him, and James Gandolfini was legitimately laughing because it's such a fucking ridiculous thing to say. It's amazing.
It is funny.
Anthony Volpe goes deep to raise his average to 190.
Ooh, hey now.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the same reason that Anthony loves fucking Tommy Chicken Cutlets, whatever the fuck his name is.
Tom DeVito.
Yeah. Why does he love him so much? Because he's Italian.
No, I think because I like doing the Italian jokes.
Goes a long way.
I like doing the Italian jokes about it. It's funny.
All I know is if it was Shadur Sanders or Tommy DeVito, I know who Anthony's picking.
Shadur Sanders. So
yeah.
Well, I mean, Anthony had to get, if Anthony wasn't a Giant fan, he would have to be, because every time he's driving home, Tommy DeVito might be starting and he's doing this on the fucking way home. It's like, oh yeah, go Giants. Like, oh yeah, right.
Hey, listen.
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about it.
It's such a douchey thing to do. I'm sorry. It's so fucking douchey. And listen, I've been wrong before. I would like to recant my my upsetness for dancing Larry at the Ranger games, because Nick straightened me out. I don't like gimmicks, and I'm not a gimmick. And Nick straightened me out. I was like, dude, he's a fan who's living his best life. Like, of course he's gonna play into the gimmick. And you know what? Honestly, and that's what makes me upset, was when I really think about it in retrospect. I'm just really a pissed off Ranger fan, and I'm looking for an outlet to take it out on somebody. You know what I mean? So
and you're like, fuck Dancing Larry. Dancing Larry is a sweet, sweet man. He really is.
You can't hate the hustle. Like
you're right. You're 100% right. I don't hate
to a wedding and dance. Like people have him dance the wedding for like
100%. 100%. But when the fucking Rangers are losing like 4-1, and this fucking guy comes down to do his dance, and all I want to do is choke somebody to fucking death, it's like, who do you think I'm gonna fucking gear that anger towards? It's like, oh, look at this motherfucker dancing. I'm glad you're having a good time.
You know who you really gotta
right? Tell me I'm wrong.
I'm trying to the way you just said, I'm glad you're having a good time. I had a flashback to Tony Soprano being like, well, where he's talking to where he's at his therapist with Carmela, and Dr. Melfi goes, "You seem angry," and he goes, "I bet you were the head of your fucking class." Yeah, God. Classic. I bet you were the head of your fucking class.
So, what is next topic?
I mean, the Rangers are on
whiskey of the week already.
Ooh, whiskey of the week already.
We can talk about hockey too. We can do whiskey.
We do whiskey because every New York sports team bad.
So baseball hasn't started yet. We don't know yet. We'll find out in about a week.
They haven't started yet, but
oh, hold on. Before we move on, I just want to talk. How do you guys feel about the fucking baseball season starting a week before the actual season starts in a foreign country?
I hate it.
It's horrible. Horrible.
I don't even count it. It doesn't even matter. I don't even watch it.
You know what?
This next Thursday. That's when it starts to matter.
It just goes, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think all it does is tell you, as a baseball fan, the sport that you love and your franchise only gives a fuck about making money. So they will do any type of gimmick or way to make money that has nothing to do with making you enjoy the game more, or helping you enjoy the sport that you love. It's just, hey, we'll fucking inconvenience you and make you watch it opening day at 3 a.m. Too bad. Like, that's a joke. That's horrible.
Not only that, but you don't even get to be there for your team. It's your fucking team. They're not the Japan Dodgers or the Japan fucking Cubs. They're the Chicago Cubs and the Los Angeles Dodgers. The Los Angeles and Chicago should have been priorities for those fucking teams. If you want to go to Japan and play spring training games over there, I remember the Yankees did that a few years ago. They played spring training games there, and then they came back home. Or if you wanted to do something with like the Rays, where the Rays do their opening day in fucking Japan because they're homeless right now, or the A's and the Rays play over there because they're both fucking homeless, then yeah, that makes sense. They're homeless. But for teams that have established franchises and established cities for years, decades, okay, their fans at home should have been the priority. Not fucking some fan who's not even a fan for anybody but that one player. As soon as Ohtani doesn't play for the fucking Dodgers anymore and they don't have Japanese players, none of those fucking people are going to give a shit about that team.
Same with the Mariners. Mariners all those years had Japanese fans because of Ichiro. Now, no, they don't.
Nothing.
Mariners fans.
Nothing. Yankees had fans because of Tanaka.
The worst part
Matsui. Gone.
The worst part about it is the Dodgers, the defending world champions. If you're a Dodgers fan, the first game you had to watch because you want to watch your team who just won a World Series. Granted, it's not going to be the same ceremony and everything, but it's going to be at 3 a.m. in the morning. And
as opposed to 3 a.m. at night.
You know what though? When it's 3 a.m. at night, that means you just had a really good night, and like you're still not winding it down. No, 3 a.m. at night's a good deal. 3 a.m. in the morning is when you're waking your ass up to watch baseball.
Yes,
you might have a degenerate gambling problem, or you're a fucking single lonely guy that like your wife took the kids and left, and the dog, and all you have is your fucking shitty TV.
It depends on what we come. Are you waking up at 3 a.m. in the morning, or are you still out till 3 a.m. at night?
That's what I just established.
I know. That's what I'm saying. So when I said
you're just making my point for me. How dare you?
I'm just saying 3 a.m. in the morning is what I meant. Means that someone had to wake up and watch this. Whatever. You get my point. If you're a Dodger fan, I'd be annoyed.
It's not your point. It was my point. How dare you?
No, I meant the
made
Dodger,
it for you.
The Dodger
I know.
point as a fan.
Fucking teasing.
I'm leaving.
No, you're not. Not with that sweater on.
I don't know why he's wearing it. He's a Devils fan. Everybody knows that.
I had to wear it because I had to make sure that everyone remembers that I'm actually a Ranger fan, a Devils fan, despite the bad propaganda that you guys have been pushing against me.
I haven't seen you at a Ranger game in quite a while.
He's trying to mush it. That's what it is. He's wearing it to do the mush.
I can't mush them any further. They're fucking terrible.
Honestly, if we're play the fucking throw the Rangers promo up. Fuck it. Hey, and guess what Hey is? Hey is fucking 4-2 Toronto right now with about 40 seconds left in the second period. And honestly, I don't give a shit. I don't know about you guys, and I'm definitely one of those people that like wants to see their team win, and I don't root against my team. I don't bet against my team. I don't like doing any of that. But the Rangers, and because of the front office saying, oh, hey, if we make the fucking – it doesn't matter if it's wild card or not. If we play a single playoff game, we're raising ticket prices next year. Fuck yous. You don't deserve to raise ticket prices. The fan base deserves an apology for the shit fest that was the season. Okay? You even have Boomer Esiason, who is very loyal to the Rangers and the front office organization. He's there all the time. He's New York sports, royalty at this point as far as media goes. And even he's saying that you got to fire Laviolette. For somebody like that to come out and make a statement like that, as bold as that, I mean, this team's not going anywhere. I don't want them to limp in a wild card spot, okay? Because all that means is more Ranger fans losing money out of their pockets to go to a game next year. And the diehard fans are showing up, okay? The Garden Faithful is going to show up. So, no, I don't want them to limp in and secure a 8-seed wild card spot. I'd rather them miss completely because, honestly, they deserve to sit there and watch everybody else in the playoffs. And I do mean everybody else because it's the other half of the league. So when you're not in that upper half, you deserve to be embarrassed, and you should sit there and be miserable playing golf in fucking, springtime instead of playing hockey.
I don't know how I don't know how my phone just heard you. But
I'm a loud dude.
But my phone just said, it sounds like you're expressing a strong sentiment about the New York Rangers performance and the potential financial impact on their fans. You're saying that fans bear the financial burden. Rangers fans, especially those who travel, will spend money to attend games. Diehard fans will always attend. Loyal fans from the Garden State, presumably New Jersey, will show up regardless of the team's performance. You'd prefer complete miss of the playoffs rather than a limping wild card spot. You'd rather the Rangers miss the playoffs entirely. You believe they deserve to miss the playoffs. You feel their performance warrants them watching other teams compete. You emphasize that the rest of the league, you want them to watch everybody else, implying that you want them to watch other teams in the conference and the other conference play in the playoffs. Essentially, you're expressing frustration with the team's performance and a desire for them to face the consequences of a disappointing season. Even fucking Google gets it.
Well, Wow. Who needs a fucking therapist when you can just talk to Google? It seems
funny.
you're indicating displeasure with sexual relationships because of a tiny
The AI summarization of like text messages is so funny. I see how my friend said before I texted him because one of my teams that I had going far in the tournament lost, and I was like, oh fuck this team, whatever it was. And it says Anthony expresses extreme dismay with Clemson. It's like,
are you talking about college basketball?
Yeah. I mean, it is March Madness, even though me and you don't watch. So
college basketball. We
listen,
we're white guys, we get it.
No, hold on. I say we give him 5 minutes before Whiskey of the Week to delve into this because listen, it's a popular subject. Other people watch this. I mean, if every once in a while I do get a hot line on some bets, and I will make some money on college basketball because I know two very consistent people when it comes to March Madness, especially the initial couple games. They're very hot. But yeah, no, dude, this is obviously, a national subject and the hottest sport going right now. So Rook, take it away.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, so far the biggest upset we had was McNeese State over Clemson. It's a 12-5. Clemson was actually a pretty good team. A lot of people had them actually. Not a lot of people was like everyone, but some prognosticators, some of those talking heads were thinking that Clemson could make a run to a Final Four. Clemson actually beat Duke earlier this year and actually cut down Duke. Stopped Duke's. I think Duke had like an 18-game winning streak or something like that, and Clemson stopped it. So I mean, there was one of the teams that you could probably see a dark horse, 5th seed, making their way. I was one of them. I thought the Eagles get to an Elite Eight, make the second weekend, and they lost the first game against McNeese State, who has never won a tournament game until today for the first time. So give it up for McNeese State. I'm sure that campus is probably going ape shit right now. There's partying all night long.
At least 4 unexpected pregnancies.
At least.
Right? 100%.
And one of them is going to be to a player. So, like, one of the players is going to.
It's going to be the same player, but 2 women.
Now that.
Imagine having to explain to people, it's like, this is my son and my daughter. Like, oh, you have twins? It's like, no. They were just 2 days apart.
I won McNeese State's first tournament game ever against Clemson. And my 2 accidents in the same night.
More like you're gonna have one woman giving birth to 2 kids from 2 different players.
Not possible.
That is absolutely possible.
It is, right?
You can fertilize both eggs at the same time.
Yeah, but I think
statistically, it's not plausible.
The chance of that is very high. Like you can't. Like the odds of that is insane. Look it up.
I'm just saying we've seen it happen before.
I haven't seen that once, but
you're not watching enough Maury.
No. One thing that I've seen is some woman come on 3 different occasions, okay? And this is my favorite thing because there's a compilation. And she brings on one dude, not the father. The second time she goes on, she brings on 2 dudes. Neither one of them is the father. The third time she goes on, I'm 90% sure it was either 3 or 4 different guys. None of them with a father. It's like, lady, how many people do you allow inside of you to just dump away and walk out? Like, holy shit. Imagine that kid in 16 years be like, yo, your mom was on Maury. She's a whore. And you got to be like, I know.
7 guys at 3 trips to Maury.
Bro, like, it must have been a train situation.
Good Lord.
By the way, it's called heteropaternal superfecundation. All right, Maury. Look,
they sell cream for that.
Twins with different fathers.
Okay, how often does it happen? Is it slim to none?
Yeah,
it's enough to be on Maury.
Anything's enough to be on Maury. There was a dude with like an arm growing out of his fucking head. Okay, come on.
Okay, so the reason that doesn't happen often is because there are not that many women banging 2 different guys in one day.
Not unless you look at my search history. We're going off the rails, folks. We are going off the rails.
That is amazing. That is actually
the one study says that 1 in 400 pairs of fraternal twins fits this description.
I was gonna say Bonnie Blue. Bonnie Blue, that girl slammed 100 guys, 1,000 guys in like 12 hours.
Yeah.
She could be a candidate for this.
Imagine being in that profession and then getting pregnant.
Only if she
like
is
not knowing
in that mode where she can give birth, right? Because if she's on the pill or
I get what you're
multiple forms of a contraception, then it's probably not likely.
You know what's fucked up?
1 in 400 pairs of fraternal twins. So if we get 400 fraternal twins in a room, two of them have different fathers.
It's crazy because that's even like if you think about how often fraternal twins happen. Like even twins itself,
it's fraternal twins happen all the time.
No, I'm not that. I mean like having twins. Like fraternal twins are basically one person disseminates 2 eggs and they get at the same time, but they're separate. They want.
I like how you're sitting here going like that's totally possible, but the concept of 2 different guys impregnating 2 separate eggs not possible. If you're both banging the same girl on the same night, totally possible.
I'm not even gonna go there. I got so many jokes and I just like.
I saw that the wheels turning, and I'm like,
I was gonna say
something ridiculous.
It depends on which hole you're manning, but whatever. There's only one.
Yeah, it does.
People do not check TJ's search history.
You can check it. I'm sure it's
those midgets were all willing. They were all willing in those fucking videos. Okay,
all of those. Then they were all of age.
Yeah. Whiskey of the week.
My God, we went off the rails. I like that.
That was fun. We got to clip that and put it on TikTok.
This is what happens when New York sports teams suck. One of us gets canceled.
Yeah,
probably gonna be me. Come on, Rook, let's hear it.
Last week I had 2 glasses of whatever Knob Creek, the 120 proof.
Shit's delicious, bro.
I got it's good. And I got what?
You were on the show last week?
Yeah, I got. Wait, was it last week? Yeah, it was last week. I was sauced after 2 glasses of that. I'm neat.
Sauced.
Well, it's 120, my guy. It's rocket fuel, but it's tremendous.
It was very good.
Very good.
Very good. But I got the McKenna 10-year bottled and bond. Pretty solid, actually. I know me and TJ were talking about this off camera. We were talking about it over the weekend, but the McKenna apparently you said it won an award a couple years ago, and then like it's like hit or miss now, and you get a different barrel. But this actually, or a different bottle, depending on what barrel it's from. But this is actually pretty solid. It is oaky, but it has a little sweetness to it, like a little vanilla. I think you taste it there. It's pretty. I think it's actually pretty good considering. I think I got a good bottle here.
So I got to try it. I want to compare it against my brother has a bottle of McKenna that is just it's not bad. It's just the proof is very noticeable and it's not a very high proof whiskey. So for it to be, that's what I'm saying. Like, so for it to be that noticeable, I
don't feel like this one. I don't think like you'll have
well, that's what I'm saying. So like that's the thing. Like barrel to barrel is very inconsistent, and obviously it's going to be. You can use the same type of wood from the same cooperage and put the same mash bill and same juice in the barrel and age it for the exact same amount of days, and it's going to change depending on the season, depending on the weather, depending on just the humidity for those. What is that? It's a bottled in bond. Is that so? It's aged 4 years.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of variables that go into it. But yes, the McKenna it won, I think, the San Francisco Bourbon Award or some shit like that. It beat like all the BTAC and the Pappies and all that crap 1 year because they pulled one honey barrel that was the greatest barrel that they've probably ever pulled out of the warehouse. So yeah, it won those awards, and since then it's been allocated and you haven't been able to find it, and finally it's come back down to earth and you can find it on shelves for like $65. So it's not a bad bottle to pull, but 60. If you have one and you love it, like you enjoy this bottle, I guarantee you, if you go to the same liquor store and pull another one off the shelf, it's going to be a different barrel and you're going to have a completely different experience. Like that's the thing. There's a big difference between their consistency.
Yeah, I think I'm going to have to hold on to this one, then hide it away put it part of the of the cabinet of like, don't drink.
Dude, you should definitely do a side-by-side review of them too, because that's what I'm planning on doing with I have 131 proof Jack Daniel's single barrel proof that I'm just about to finish, and I'm saving the last pour so I can do a side-by-side. I just picked up another Jack Daniel's single barrel proof that I think is like 127 proof. So I want to do a side-by-side because you're talking about like you can have completely different whiskeys. Like it's just everything is based on conditions, and that's what we learned by going to those distillery tours, that they try to emulate like hot conditions and stuff like that and try to
keep it similar. Yeah.
Right. And humidity and stuff like that, because all that does is just introducing the whiskey to the barrel, and the barrel is absorbing the whiskey and then spitting the whiskey out as the temperature changes. So that's where you get all the flavor.
Like you think about it, if you just
had a Woodford Reserve shirt on yesterday, and one of my coworkers go, "Where'd you get a Woodford Reserve? How'd you get a Woodford Reserve shirt?" And I was like, "I went to Woodford Reserve." And they're like, "Oh, that's badass whiskey."
One of the nicest, I think, distilleries I've ever been to.
That was really nice. I think out of all the ones we went to or visited, I think that was very nice.
Whiskey Thief was fun, though. I like that whole.
Whiskey Thief was cool. Cool atmosphere. Cool vibe.
Yes, that was probably the coolest atmosphere, because they were like, "All right, the barrels are over there. You just go take whatever you want." It's like, wait, what? It's like, oh yeah, you could try as much as you want. It's like, oh, and they're all barrel proof. It's like, yeah, we got that because it's coming out of the barrel. So everything we drank there was like 120 plus.
Yeah,
and then we were also crushing beers alongside of it, because we're like, we have to spend money here, right? Like, we felt weird just drinking their whiskey.
It was hot as shit, and then like the whiskey
and a band started playing,
and the whiskey was hot, and it was like, yeah, all right, we're drinking. We got to drink some beers because it's cold. Like, we need something cold. It's fucking hot as shit.
Yeah, I drank a mint julep there, and I drank the bourbon slushy because I was like, I can't just keep it in hot, neat whiskey, barrel proof whiskey, no less.
With pieces of burnt wood in it
in this hot weather.
Yeah,
I tried. I did all 5. It was all 5 or 6 barrels. I had one of each definitely, and then I went back for at least 2 or 3 of them. So I mean,
same here.
It's pretty
they were good. You bought a bottle, correct?
I bought the bottle at the store, not the bottle straight from the barrel.
I thought you bought it straight from the barrel. Somebody bought one straight from the barrel, didn't they?
I don't think anyone bought anything. I think I'm the one who bought a bottle there.
I think somebody.
The only thing that messed me up with Whiskey Thief was the fact that the bottles were. I don't think they were $7.50. I think they were smaller, and it was like $85 for a bottle, and that's the only thing that threw me off. I'm like,
because you're pulling straight from the barrel. I think it was like part of like the experience.
It's part of the experience, but like nothing jumped out at me enough to be like, yeah, this is worth $80. Like, it was good, but like that's a special like area of like when you're talking about MSRP, not chasing hype bottles or unicorns or anything like that. Like, once you cross the $50 line, like I'm expecting at least 10 years of age or something like that. Like, you can go and get a Russell's 10 for $50 right now. That's 10 years of age out of a great fucking distillery. Like, that a lot of thought and hands were involved in making that to perfection. It's just, and that's $50. So pulling those barrels, and they definitely weren't. I think one of them, the highest age one was I think 8 years, and the rest were closer to 6 and 7 years, which isn't bad age. And they were delicious. Don't get me wrong. But I think it was more paying the $80 was the gimmick of, you can say you loaded up your own bottle.
Yeah, and it wasn't like, have you ever seen like on TikTok or YouTube, they have like the you go to Michter's, they just have like kind of the barrel sits there and you kind of hit that thing.
Yeah, I wanted to do that so bad. We couldn't get into Michter's.
Yeah, but this one was like, people weren't there. It was like a brass like tube where you hold the button, you dip it in, fills up, you hold the button, the hole in the back to keep the air out, and then you just dip it into the barrel. So it's a little bit different than the one that Michter's does, but it's a cool experience. But I didn't buy that bottle. I went and I splurged a little bit because Whiskey Thief you can't buy anywhere else. They only sell their whiskey at their distillery.
Right.
So there was like a bottle and bond in the store that I had tasted. I think they were doing taste for like $10 a person.
Yeah. Did you get like 4 or 5 pours or something like that for $10?
It was I think it was either 3 or 4. But you could taste anything else, not just whiskey. It was like their moonshine,
right?
Their vodkas, they had flavored vodkas, they had moonshine, and they had the whiskey bottle and bond. So I tried that one. Actually, I think I actually did 2 taste tests because it might actually have been $5 actually. So maybe you're right. Maybe it was like 6 pours for $10. And it was like $5 in tasting. And then I got the whiskey, the bottle and bond, which I splurged for. It was $100, but I was like, I'm on vacation, it's mixed batch.
Did you crack it yet?
Oh yeah, I had it. I have like half a bottle left.
Oh, nice,
solid. You should have had it on Sunday. Should have told me. I would have gave you a pull.
It was definitely a fun experience. I had a lot of fun there. I think. Listen, I'm not to pat ourselves on the back, but I think we killed that one. So I still think about Kentucky all the time. Like, I never my wildest dreams did I think like, oh man, I'm going to go on a trip to Kentucky and have a great time. Like, not that there's anything wrong with the state of Kentucky. It's just not something an East Coast boy thinks of. I think of beaches in Florida or the Caribbean or getting fucked up in Vegas and losing a bunch of money and trying to explain to my wife that I was robbed.
Well, I still lost a bunch of money, but it was in whiskey, so it was worth it.
No, that wasn't a loss of money though. That was we gained a lot of memories. And then forgot about the memories because of the drunkenness.
Yeah, but no, it was definitely a great time. I always talk about I want to go back. My brother's never been, and my brother loves bourbon too. So I'm like, I kind of want to get like a trip eventually to go back again.
I would go back. I mean, I'm just saying, if we get like 8 dudes, we can rent a Sprinter van and all drive like an hour and a half each, and everybody gets to drink the rest of the time. Dude, get there in 12 hours and do it for the weekend.
The drive was not bad at all.
It wasn't bad at all
until we got to Kentucky, and I drove the whole way down. And then, again, I only drove the whole way because I'm that guy. And the only reason it was bad is because when we got there, for whatever reason, I got like this weird I don't even know what to call it. From going 100 miles an hour for fucking 13 hours and then going to 0 miles per hour, I got sick. Like, I just got nauseous. Like,
of course.
I don't know.
Listen, I'm with you. Okay. And it was fucked up because it's his bachelor party. And I kept asking him, like, yo, you want me to take over? You want me to take over? He's like, no. And then on the way home, we got about halfway home. And he's like, yo, can you take over? I'm like, yeah, fucking tag me in, motherfucker. I've been waiting for this.
He's like,
oh, man, you've been driving the whole time.
Coach.
I'm glad I flew because I was so hungover that Sunday. I needed.
There's no way you were glad you flew when you got stuck at the airport and then was flying around fucking.
Oh yeah, that part sucked. But I would. You guys got to like 8:30, 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, didn't we beat you home though?
You did because I got stuck in Syracuse for 4 hours.
Fucking nuts.
I got stuck in Syracuse, but also, it was. But I still prefer that than having to wake up like 8:30, 9 o'clock in the morning and get and be like completely hungover in the car.
No, you're crazy. It would have been better because you would have watched Uncle Mick sleep for 90% of it and then wake up to explain to you that cows don't exist.
Cows are not real.
They're not real. There's not enough cows in the world to feed everybody.
Leave that man alone. He's got his beliefs. At least
fucking love that man. I love that man. If I go back to Kentucky and he's not part of it, I'm going to be upset.
Uncle Mick is neither TJ and I uncle, and we call him Uncle Mick because he's everyone's uncle. He's so funny. He's a good guy. He's a great guy, Nick. We appreciate you for introducing Uncle Mick into our life.
I just love the fact that your father loved the fact that I put $1 in Uncle Mick's hand when he fell asleep in the courtesy fucking.
He passed out at the fucking Army game. He's sitting outside the exchange, passed out with his hand out like this. TJ goes up and puts $1 in his hand. He goes, "Hey, buddy, get yourself a cup of coffee."
That man can sleep anywhere, huh?
Listen, you served in the military for 34 years. Yeah, you can do whatever you want.
That's true.
I mean, we're running out of time. I was going to bust this out and give that was going to be my bottle of the week, but I guess it's still not cracked. Not cracked. I spent stupid money on it, which is fucking. And you know what's funny? It wasn't even stupid money considering. I'm going to defend myself here. MSRP on Russell's 15 is $250. That's if you're going to get it for exactly what the distillery is selling the MSRP price for. So even if you go to a liquor store that hooks you up, you're not getting this bottle for under $275. You add tax, it's easily over $300. I ended up getting this for $400 flat cash. Haggled down the guy, told him, listen, $400 flat, that's it. No tax, no nothing. He had the bottle marked up for $429, which is still cheap considering we are in New York City and the tri-state area is not. You gotta haggle. It's like a Bangladesh fucking market. Like you gotta sit there and haggle. That's the way it is. Like everything is marked up everywhere.
You have to haggle?
Apparently. As far as this goes, yeah, I'm gonna say apparently you have to haggle over there. But yeah, dude, got him down to $400 flat. When he rang it up, the bottle was marked up to $429 after he added tax and stuff, and then deleted the tax. That's his problem. It was fucking $470. I'm like, all right, I don't feel like I gotten too ripped off on this. You know what I mean? I definitely didn't pay secondary because secondary on this bottle is between $600 and $800, which that's just crazy. But I was going to break this out, but I guess it'll just have to wait till next time.
All right. Is that it?
Imagine I just drop it right now.
Next time, there won't be a next time. I'm just drinking rum. I'm not drinking whiskey at all. I'm drinking rum.
What kind of
Bacardi, Bacardi 10.
Oh, you got it when you went to the exchange, right?
Yeah.
Is that your fresh bottle?
Maybe.
From last week?
From a week ago? Yeah.
Good man. Good man.
Listen, I'm recovering from surgery. I got to build it back up.
I like it.
And I was cooking Spanish food yesterday and today. What am I supposed to drink and not? Am I supposed to be cooking while listening to my fucking salsa music and not drinking? Like, what the fuck?
You're right. Not for nothing. The last weekend I was making pizza, and even though I've been on a tequila kick, I poured myself a glass of wine, and I was just sitting there making pizza like, I'm a fool to do your dirty work. Oh, yeah.
Hey, Tony Soprano.
Oh, yeah. Oh, shit. My wife.
Well, I think that's all we got this week. Baseball season starts next week. I'm trying to see if we can get Jason from MSG over. He actually just came back from a trip to Iceland, and I'd love to hear about that.
Sick. That's another place I would like to go to.
Except, here's the deal. I'm going to Japan on Sunday, so I will not be on next week, but hopefully Jason can show up and fill in for me a little tiny bit.
So, Nick, and I'm going to put this on the podcast so I can hold you to task about it if you don't give me the phone call. And I don't give a fuck if it's 1 o'clock in the morning. Japan, right? There's a big second market for whiskeys, and it's the duty-free market. Okay, for bourbon specifically. Blanton's has 3 different Japanese releases only. Black, green, and red, Takara. And then they also got the Takara Gold, which is gold, but, it's just the Japanese version of gold. On top of the fact that you got to get me some wild turkey, okay? Non-chill filtered rare breed. That's another one that's only available outside the U.S. So the U.S. makes whiskey that we can't fucking buy here. And it's ridiculous. And it's pissing me off. So I need you to be a pal. And I don't care when you land and what time you get into the duty-free shop. You give your boy a call. And I'll give you my fucking... I might just give you my credit card to bring over there. You just rack it up. Just rack it up. Just rack it up because at the end of the day, I'll just be like, sorry, honey, I let Nick borrow my card.
I'm sure your bank will definitely allow those charges to go through, no problem.
It's like, how did this guy just bought a fucking cup of coffee at 7-Eleven on Bay Street, and now he's in Japan buying bottles.
I'm gonna go charge that shit, and they're gonna be like, sorry, Gaijin, not you, some other Gaijin.
Round eye. You gotta wear a Mr. Baseball shirt at least one day.
I'm gonna see if I'm gonna try to buy a Yomiuri Giants hat at the game, and then
that's cool.
I wish I could get a fucking a Mr. Baseball jersey. Like if I could find one, I would definitely get a Mr. Baseball jersey.
At the very least, you have to buy like a Tom Selleck faux mustache online and walk around with it.
What else are you doing when you're in Japan besides the Yomiuri Giants game?
We're going to Universal to go to
Nice.
Nintendo World. We're going to Disney.
Nice.
So
I've never been to Disney World in the US, but I'm going to Disneyland in Japan.
Are you serious? You never been in the US?
No.
he's waiting. Him and Meredith are waiting to go meet Carissa. It's a fact.
You got to understand, I'm not Puerto Rican like some of us. I'm actually Puerto Rican. So I only ever went on vacation to places that I had family members that lived there. And before my parents moved to Orlando, I didn't have any family members that lived in Florida. So I never went to Florida until I was a man grown. And if you're a man grown, why the fuck are you going to Disney World?
All right, wait a minute. Stop. Because you're saying I'm a Puerto Rican, and then apparently I went to Disney as a kid. I've been to Disney once, and I was 2 years old. That's the only time my parents ever took me. And I went to Disney as an adult. Obviously, once with my kids and once with my wife, because I would never been to Disney.
I just got married and I have no kids. This is like the argument I had with my brother when he was like, "What do you mean you haven't seen Frozen?" And I was like 27 years old. I was like, "What would you do if you went to go take the girls to go watch Frozen and you saw 27-year-old Nick sitting in the back by himself watching Frozen?"
Yeah, it's
gay.
Not even Predator.
Yeah, Predator.
Listen, I don't give a shit what the fuck you guys say. Me and Carissa went multiple times to Disney after we turned 21 before we had Alex. I want to say like every year before we had a kid, and then every other year after having a kid.
Yeah, you have a girl.
Married.
I get it, but I may be married.
First of all, there's nothing more pathetic than a single man going on vacation by himself. That is straight up some Sarah Marshall shit where you're going to get away from your life because it's so miserable.
But you're just saying you were single, so you wouldn't go. Yeah, you wouldn't go to Disney alone.
Right.
You go with family, but you're saying you're never go with family because no one lives in Florida.
Exactly. And my point being is, if you go to see a Disney princess movie, all right, with your daughters, and there's a fucking 27-year-old dude in the back, you're gonna hear this sound as he scans the room because he's a fucking predator.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were doing a different sound. I thought we were talking like Pee Wee Herman getting caught in the back of the fucking theater.
No. First of all,
predator making predator noises.
If there, yeah, that's what I got what he was doing. It was thinking that.
I thought he was making it.
Bastard.
No.
No, I would be like, first of all, I would, my eyes would always, I wouldn't even watch the movie because I'd be like this the entire time. Wherever that guy's sitting, like, what the fuck you doing? Where you going, bro? Where you going?
Why's he got a trench coat on?
And yet I still have a more disturbing experience when I went and saw fucking Avengers Endgame. Me and my brother and my buddy, we like to just go to every Marvel movie. That's what we do. We go to Marvel movie, we get, a couple drinks, we hang out, we watch it, we have some fun. I abuse it because I'm a cynical asshole, and then they tell me that I'm wrong. But we were watching Avengers Endgame, and spoiler alert, and if this is a spoiler at this point, you just fucking suck. When Spider-Man returns back from the dead and comes through the portal, this man began sobbing uncontrollably next to me. And I mean a man, like a 30-something-year-old man, because Spider-Man was back, and I audibly sobbing and then going, "Oh my god!" And I was fucking hitting my brother in the leg, like, "Yo, switch seats with me." He's like, "Fuck you."
Nick, do me a favor. I don't know if the show's still going on. When you get to Disney World, Disneyland, Tokyo, can you do a favor for your nieces? Your nieces are huge
actually Tokyo
fans.
Disney.
Is that what it is? I thought it was Disneyland, Tokyo, whatever it is. Tokyo Disney, whatever it is.
Disney,
Your nieces,
yeah.
Okay. Your nieces are huge fans of the Zootopia, which I think there's a Zootopia ride, which is only Zootopia ride is in Japan, I believe anyway, and the Frozen ride. So if you get like some snaps and pictures of Zootopia and the Frozen ride, there's actually a Frozen roller coaster, I think, in Japan, as opposed to the Frozen ride in Disney World. You get some snaps, those pictures, you could put yourself very high on the alcohol list.
I'm just throwing this out there. I think the Scoreboard Addicts go on the road to Disney World and fuck shit up. Somebody's getting banned.
Yeah,
it's Tokyo Disneyland.
We were both right.
We both right. We all right.
But we're out of time. We'll catch you again. Well, they'll catch you again next week. But you'll see some shorts from me. Running around Japan, doing my best not to get thrown out of the country.
And seeing Zootopia ride.
We'll see. I don't get to control the fucking trip, man. It's not I'm just a passenger on that gravy train. Okay, you gotta talk to the captain about that shit.
Well, you tell her her nieces need. If she wants to be Aunt Meredith, she's better get some pictures of Zootopia.
I'll throw it her way. She loves the little kids. So like, if I say that, we're going. But again, I don't make that decision. That's up to the boss.
I know. Is there a Pinocchio ride there?
Real quick. I was talking to somebody about Japan because I went to Japan when I was a kid. My father took me. We went to see a Van Halen concert in Tokyo Dome. It was fucking nuts.
By the way, he hasn't been back because apparently he did something that got him thrown out of the country, and that's why he hasn't been back to Japan since. Even as a child,
it has to do with pachinko and gambling debts, and forget it. Anyway, this dude told me about two experiences that he did. I know of one. I've seen it a bunch on TikTok and YouTube. You could do pretty much the Mario Kart where you drive through Tokyo on go-karts. Nice.
I'm doing that.
The second one, and he said it was crazy expensive, yet he would do it no problem. He said it was like $400 a person. You go to this building, and it's like a full immersion cosplay of you're now a security guard in a mall, and you got to defend this mall against whatever threats may happen, and you're given a gun and training and stuff like that, which is essentially a laser gun. And what they do is they take you on a walk through the mall, and it's full immersion. It's somebody, your boss, explaining to you your duties as a security guard of this mall. You go downstairs to get outfitted with your security guard outfit, handed your, laser gun or whatever, because obviously it's not shooting anything real. It's just a beam of light. And then they take you to a different floor, unbeknownst to you, that's the exact replica of the mall you just walked through, completely fucked up and destroyed, filled with zombies, and you have to survive. I'm like, that's nuts. He goes, dude, it was like an hour and a half of intense fun. He goes, at one point, my wife gave up, and I took her fucking laser blaster, and I was just like, oh! I'm like, so you pulled a Rambo. I was like, I'm sure they loved it. He goes, dude, I was a hero.
At first, when you said the World Cup, I was like, they just have a Paul Blart.
Paul Blart, yeah, you get on a fucking jazzy scooter or like a Segway and you float around.
Shooting zombies.
I know $400 is a lot of money, but if you're like, yo, full immersion, it's like, all right, fine, but there's a chance I actually hurt somebody.
Yeah,
that's why
somebody's getting a neck broken.
That's why I don't do like
American or Japan
like that, man.
What's that, Rook?
$400 American or Japanese money? The yen.
Yen is like
400 yen is like 30 cents American.
No, it's like $3.40 or something like that.
Yeah. 400 yen is like
large there.
Yo, dude, no, absolutely not. Like when you go and get lunch and stuff like that, it's like 27,000 yen. And you're like, holy shit! It's like $27, $24.
400 yen is $2.68.
Yeah. It's awesome. It's awesome when you get handed, like when you go exchange money, you're getting handed 10, 20, and 50,000 yen bills. It's like, whoa, big spender.
Here's my question: why wouldn't they just change it so the number wasn't so large?
Yeah, that's I don't get either.
I would love to tell you, but I have no idea what the reason for monetary exists. Like, I mean, look at Zimbabwe. You remember when like their dollar collapsed and like 10 million Zimbabwe dollars was like $3 American, and everybody's like, "Oh shit, I got $10 million."
I didn't even know Zimbabwe had money.
Yeah, the only reason I know that is because you can buy like their $10 million note online, and it's like
by the way, in 1991, if you would have gotten $100 American in Kuwaiti dinar, it would be like $10,000 today.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So they wouldn't let us convert any of our money when we invaded Iraq.
Makes sense. That's
all we got for you, folks. We'll see you next time. Same bad channel.
March Madness.
Tip your bartenders.